Marco here, and on this video I'm going to break down my bracket for you. I'm going to give you my picks for the first round, tell you why I like those teams, plus I'm also going to give you some historical perspective in terms of what seeds do well in what particular round, what teams you should avoid, what teams you should ride at this point in the season, because much like you, I am a bracket junkie. Last year, for the first time in 4 years, I did not actually win any of the tournament brackets that I entered. Previous 4 years, I had 9 different wins. As I said, I'm a bracket junkie, and one of the things that helps me as a handicapper, especially when it comes to filling out the bracket, is the fact that all through the course of the college basketball regular season, I'm always focusing on the mid-majors, the smaller conferences, and being able to pick the Cinderellas, for lack of a better term, in the tournament, the lower seeds that will win the first round game. That is so crucial to having success, because as I've always maintained, you've got to have at least 25 first round winners in order to have any chance at winning your tournament bracket pool. So what you might want to do is go ahead right here on my homepage, and on the homepage of the site you can hit the link to download my bracket. You might want to print out the PDF file as we get ready to run through it. I'll tell you what, the last 5-6 years, I do so many media interviews this particular week, and very few of them actually talk about the games from a point spread perspective. Everybody wants help on filling out their brackets. That's the way it is. It's a national passion or pastime, as you've now figured out. Let's talk about a couple of tips before we actually break down the individual games. First of all, no team that has ever lost its opening round playoff conference tournament game, no team that has ever lost that first game has ever won the entire big dance. So guys, if you're on the Pittsburgh Panther bandwagon, I got news for you. It don't look good historically, okay? Throw in Wisconsin and Purdue, even though they have no chance to win the whole damn thing, because they, of course, took first round exits as well in the Big Ten tournament. Now, last 4 years, 15 top 4 seeds lost their opening round game. 8 of them didn't even make the Sweet 16. And again, it's not the opening round of the big dance, it's the opening round of their respective conference tournament. You've also got to consider the fatigue factor. Look at an example, Connecticut, 5 games in 5 days. Penn State, 4 games in 4 days. Over the last 10 years, no team from a BCS Power Conference has ever made it through the first weekend of action. No team has ever made the second weekend of play if they played 4 games in 4 days. 7 straight losers the past 10 years. 2 double-digit seeds, your so-called Cinderella teams, okay, for lack of better terms. 2 double-digit seeds have reached the Sweet 16, 11 of the last 14 years. 1 double-digit seed has reached the Sweet 16, 24 of the past 26 years. Number 4 seeds, do they advance to the Sweet 16? Just 1 out of 3 do. Over the past 6 years, 33%. Now, that percentage doubles. Number 2 and number 3 seeds, almost identical, 66, 67% advance to the Sweet 16. Of course, number 1 seeds, 96% over the past 6 years. And the ever-popular 5-12. That's what everybody talks about, the 5-12. Well, guys, hey, a number 12 seed has pulled at least 1 win in 20 of the last 22 tournaments. This year, you've got 4, of course, number 12 seeds, or number 5 seeds. Which one goes down? It's not West Virginia. It's not Arizona. It's not Vanderbilt. I say Utah State, a number 12 seed, beats Kansas State this year. That's the one that gets victimized. If you've got the bracket, let's start here on the left-hand side. We'll run it from the top, guys. Ohio State, yeah, they're going to advance. Villanova and George Mason. A lot of people like George Mason, not me. Listen, Villanova certainly struggled after a 16-1 start, collapsing down the stretch, but the best thing that happened to the Wildcats is they blew the 16-point halftime lead against South Florida in their opening round Big East tournament game. They were knocked out by the Bulls, and they've had all this time to rest and recover. And that's so important, since Corey Fisher and Corey Stokes, their 2 best shooters and players, were nagged by injuries late in the season. They needed this time off. I like Villanova to win this game and to partially redeem themselves after such a lousy finish. I'm going to go with West Virginia. I'm going to take Kentucky as well over Princeton. Next, I'm taking Xavier. A lot of people are on Marquette, but ask yourself, what did the Golden Flashes do during the regular season finish to impress you? Yeah, they picked up a nice win in the Big East tournament, but they were supposed to win that game. Xavier, everybody down on the Musketeers, because this is a team that lost to Dayton in the Atlantic 10 tournament. But hey, Dayton was playing with a huge chip on the shoulder and revenge. Musketeers a good team with an outstanding point guard, and that is so critical in the tournament. Next, I like Syracuse over Indiana State. I'm going to take Washington over Georgia. I think Washington, as you can see on my bracket, makes a run to the Sweet 16. A physical team, an anomaly, that's for sure, coming out of the Pac-10, that also has an excellent point guard in Isaiah Thomas running the show. In Georgia, I'm not sure why the Bulldogs are even in the big dance. I thought Alabama should have gotten their spot. North Carolina, obviously over Long Island. Continuing on, I'll take Duke over Hampton. Tennessee over Michigan. You know, Tennessee has talent. The problem is the Volunteers only play great once every 3 or 4 games. I think their experience pays off tonight, and Bruce Pearl leads them to the first round win. I like Arizona with ease over Memphis. I'm going to take Texas over Oakland, although I think Oakland of Michigan can certainly give Texas a little bit of a run for the money because they've got Benson in the middle. They've got some size. I like Cincinnati, strong, rugged, defensive team that hits the rack hard against a Missouri team playing out west. Well, Missouri outside of Columbia this season sucked. How can you back the Tigers? Might as well take Cincinnati. I'm going to go with Temple over Penn State. Another trendy pick, Penn State. I just don't see it. First of all, the 4 games in 4 days scenario I laid out for you earlier. The other thing is that Temple, yes, the Owls had won 11 out of 12 games to close the season, with the only loss coming at Duke before getting upset by Richmond. But was it really an upset, even though they cost me personally money, because it was one of the plays I released and bet on? In retrospect, Richmond was playing in double revenge, and they got it. And it was just one of those bad shooting days for the Owls. I think they beat Penn State. And I like San Diego State over Northern Colorado. We switch now over to the other side of your bracket, the left side, or the right side of your bracket. I'm going to take Kansas and UNLV at the top. Yes, I like UNLV easily over Illinois, an Illinois team that on paper has a lot of talent, but so does Michigan State, right? Both of these teams, certainly disappointments in the Big Ten this season. I like UNLV and Lon Kruger in there. I'm going to go with Vanderbilt over Richmond. Now, this is a 5-12 pairing that's a reach, but I think Vanderbilt, they have the size. They're a deeper team. They're occasionally a good shooting team. I think Richmond, they won the A-10 championship. I think they're going to take an early exit here. I like Louisville, obviously, over Morehead State. I'm going to go with USC, and I'm recording this for you on Tuesday afternoon, so I don't even know how USC did against VCU, but I don't think VCU even deserved to be in this tournament. All they did really at the end of the season was stop George Mason in revenge, snapping the Patriots' 16-game winning streak. I think USC, with their big physical front line, their dominating center, Kevin O'Neal with all his defensive strategy, you're looking at a game that may not get out of the low 50s. I think that they win this game, and USC advances over Georgetown. I'm going to go with Purdue over St. Peter's. The Boilermakers have talent. They just haven't shown it the last couple of weeks. St. Peter's, how the hell they upset Iowa in the Iona in the MAC championship game is beyond me. I'm going to take Texas A&M over Florida State. Even though Florida State has the better guard play, Texas A&M has the better front court, and I still like that pick, even though Singleton might come back with the Seminoles. Notre Dame, obviously, over Akron. Pittsburgh will win. Old Dominion is going to stop Butler. Yes, Butler's run last year, nice, fine, and dandy, not the same team. Old Dominion, a 2017 win team for a reason, Colonial Conference champion. They hit the rack hard. They are a tough defensive team. They're not a bad outside shooting team as well. They're just a better team than Butler. I like Old Dominion in that one. I'm going to take Utah State. There's your 5-12 upset. Utah State, a 30-win team to beat a Kansas State team that went 22-10 this year. Couldn't beat Colorado. Other than a nice 5-1 run down the stretch heading into the Big 12 tournament, what did the Wildcats show you this season? Oh, they beat Kansas? Okay. But otherwise, what did they really show you this season? And again, on the road outside of Manhattan, don't like K-State. I'm going to take Wisconsin over Belmont. I like Gonzaga, a team that's won 9 in a row to continue its run, beating St. John's, BYU over Wofford, and then Michigan State over UCLA, and Florida over Cal Santa Barbara. The rest of the picks you can see. Good luck, everybody. Hope that helps you. And